Hey there, I took a snow day today, so I thought maybe I would just share some tips with you. This is for parents and also for providers. So with providers, our in-home coaches and our mental health providers that work in the home with the Family First program, this is for us to help the parents to be able to do this, but we have to be able to do it too. So this has to do with kind of noticing kind of what level the kids are at and helping the parents to read that mountain of escalation that's in their workbook and notice where the kids are, and then how we use our presence and how we teach the parents to use their presence. So as kids become, agitated, as they are kind of escalating, it's really important to be able to read the situation. I call it putting pressure on, taking pressure off. So if we want a child to be compliant, to do something that they've been told to do, a lot of times we'll put the pressure on by coming in closer to the child, as if to say, either you can do this on your own or I will come and help you. So sometimes we can have the parent kind of move in closer in a non-threatening way. Anytime a parent goes face to face with a kid, it's threatening, it's aggressive. So we want to come in alongside, and it's like we're going to go do this together. Sometimes we'll do that even while waiting. The child is, distracted, doing something else, won't give up what they're doing. We'll move in closer. We're going to start helping. I really want you to be careful to teach the parents, and for parents to see this, that you don't want to be taking things from their hands. You don't want to be, you don't want to touch them at this point, because you will escalate them. So it's using your presence, but then it's also being aware that as we put that pressure on, that sometimes we need to take a step back and take the pressure off. So if that escalates the child, if they're okay with it, and then all of a sudden they start to escalate, I've had kids that it's almost like all of a sudden they realize that you're there. And it's not that they tell you to go away. That's not what I'm talking about, but it's like you can see that they're starting to get movement, then you can kind of take some of that pressure off and move back and just take a step. So we're still kind of in the 3 feet, but we're just taking some pressure off. So really, you need to be aware of like where you're standing as a provider, where you are and where you naturally move to, because you have to be able to help the parents, because especially if they're in a power struggle, especially, if you are feeling like, now I don't want to lose this battle. And so it gets more aggressive. As a parent, like you are going to be more likely to see that, to be in that and not have the clarity to see that just taking a little bit of pressure off might really change things. So some examples of that are if a child is getting, or teen is getting escalated, and they start to move away, and ultimately we want them to be able to ask for a break, or to be able to say, I need to take a break, or I need a minute, let me figure this out, and verbalize that. But in this program, that's later, when they have those skills. So at first it's the parent noticing that and being able to say, hey, you look like you need to take a break. But sometimes kids, as they start to kind of move through the program, will actually go to take that break. They may not say anything, but they're learning to kind of give themselves that space. So depending on the situation, if the kid is going to, take off or not, that's not what I'm talking about. But if they're just going to go to their room, they're getting angry, they're moving away from the target of what they want to hurt, that to me is a good sign. I want to follow up with the child, but I might give them a little bit of space, or have the parent give them a little bit of space, then go and say, I'm right here, I'm going to stay here until you're ready to come, do a Calm Plus 5, or to take a break for a minute. But I'll give you a minute. I have some parents that will actually, I'm going to set the timer and give you 5 minutes, and then I'll come back and check and see if you're doing better, or if, we're ready to do whatever it was that they were getting agitated about. So just giving them that room to turn things around can really help a lot, especially with your kids that kind of have a lot of pride. It's very difficult as a human for anybody to just change their attitude, and we want that as parents, and sometimes we want that, we want to encourage that, like, you can, you need to change that right now, or you need to stop acting this way. But if we can give a little bit of space and then come around it a different way, sometimes you'll get more compliance. And then as you start to get compliance, that's not a good time to, put pressure back on of, like, why did you act that way, or anything like that. We want that movement, and we want to help them to be able to do the things that they were told to do, whatever it was, to be able to voice their frustration and make that okay. Another example is if you have to decide, when you, like, if a child is in their room and they're getting aggressive, it's not going to be a punishment, and it's not going to be a threat, and so if we are coming across as a threat, like we're upset with them, we're angry, we're demanding, or the parent is demanding that they do something, you better stop that right now, or you need to come out of your room right now. And then we're standing there kind of in that, way. A child that's going to flip their lid it's going to happen very quickly. And if you're a threat, you're going to get hurt, because then you become the target, because their whole mindset is about getting rid of this threat that is happening. And so sometimes taking a step back and and this is where it really takes some skill, I think, because it's helping the parent, or you as a parent, to be able to read what's happening. And so, and you're not gonna, if you take a step back or you disengage too much, like the kid is probably gonna let you know, because they're gonna do something else to get you to engage. But if you can take a step back in a good way, it will actually be really positive. If you take a step forward in aggression, or as a threat, or as any kind of dominance with a kid that's about ready to lose their mind, like, you're going to also know really fast. But that's a little bit harder to correct, because then stuff happens. Like, they are going to hurt you. There are things that happen. We want to, as much as we can, especially if the kids have been in the program for 3 weeks or longer, to really use some of these other skills and just kind of notice, like, we can put pressure on and put pressure off. Because we have a lot of teens that we work with that we never do safety holds with. So we're not touching the kids. We're not coming in there, and I don't have the parents do that either. So we want to teach the parents also, what is safe, a safe distance. It's like we say 3 feet, but I don't want parents to get hit and kicked by a child. They can stay out of that range, and sometimes that's where we just need to help them know where to be. And that the child, especially with these kids with these mood disorders and stuff, are really, we just want to not be threatening. And we want to make sure that we're not walking on eggshells, but that we're using that pressure and release in appropriate ways. So I hope that's helpful, and something that you can build on.